What's up, guys? Welcome back to the next episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. Today, we start the next Nostalgia Series episode. It's going to be a two-parter. What are we going over? Well, it's an NBA playoffs that really had everything. Drama, controversy, exciting finishes. It had everything. What year was it? Let's find out. Here we go. All right, guys, here we go. So, I'm going to take you back to the year 2000. A NBA playoffs that had all the hype, all the controversy you could want, if not more, and some legendary matchups. So today we're going to actually go through the first round, and then the next episode we're going to run through the semifinals, finals, and NBA finals. So I want to lay out how the bracket stacked up this year and the records for each team. So in the Western Conference, you had the Shaq and Kobe Lakers with an NBA season record 67 and 15. The Utah Jazz were 55 and 27. The Portland Trail Blazers were 59 and 23. The San Antonio Spurs were 53 and 29. It's tied with the Phoenix Suns, who were also 53 and 29. The Minnesota Timberwolves were 50 and 32. The Supersonics of Seattle were 45 and 37, and the Sacramento Kings were 44 and 38. That is positions 1 through 8. In the Eastern Conference, you had the Indiana Pacers winning with 56 and 26. The Heat were second at 52 and 30. The Knicks were third at 50 and 32. Charlotte Hornets and the Philadelphia 76ers were both 49 and 33, but Charlotte won their season series 3-1. So they got the 4th seed. The Toronto Raptors were 45 and 37, and then the Detroit Pistons and Milwaukee Bucks were both 42 and 40. Detroit was 3-1 through the season against Milwaukee, so they got the 7th seed, and Milwaukee ended up in the 8th seed. Now, how this entire first round played out could not have been much better for the NBA. It was epic. It was epic. And it's most notably known for one series, and I'm not going to talk about that series yet, because if I do, then everybody's going to shut the podcast off. I'm not going to talk about that series yet. Instead, we're going to talk about my team series first. Then we're going to talk about a team that had been consistently in the playoffs. And then we'll get to the controversy. So, going through, there were 2 sweeps, both of them in the Eastern Conference, in this first round. So, the Miami Heat swept the Detroit Pistons. In the first game, they won 95-85. Jamal Mashburn had 29 points in that game. Stackhouse had 23. Grant Hill had 9 rebounds, almost a double-double, but also led that game in assists for the Pistons with 5. In game number 2, it was a 2-point difference. 84-82, Miami Heat over the Pistons. Jamal Mashburn with 24 points. Alonzo Mourning with 8 rebounds. Jerry Stackhouse had 26 points. And Grant Hill again led that Piston team in assists with 4. Noticing an issue here? There seems to be a problem. All right, the Miami Heat then absolutely destroyed the Pistons in Game 3, 91-72. Clarence Weatherspoon, longtime small forward, had a double-double, had 18 points, 10 rebounds. But Jerry that was what led the Heat there. Jerry Stackhouse had 25 points, and this time Grant Hill did not lead the assists. It was Stackhouse with 3. So here's the thing. Here is the thing. Once the Detroit Pistons got Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton in a backcourt that could actually pass the ball, guess what? They started winning. So, hey, got a point guard, and then you can start winning. What do you know? So the Miami Heat swept the Detroit Pistons there. And then the New York Knicks against the, at the time, Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter Raptors. Now, these games were all exciting. It may have been 3-0, but it was 3-0 by a hair. So, yeah, game number 1, the Knicks won 92-88. Houston and Latrell Sprewell both had 21 points each. Tracy McGrady had 25. Game number 2, New York wins 84-83. Sprewell with 25 points, Vince Carter with 27 for the Raptors. And then game 3 really ended up being the fourth quarter. They outscored the Raptors 26-17 in the fourth quarter, and they ended up winning 87-80 in Toronto. Houston had 23 points, and Antonio Davis had 18 points for the Raptors. In game 2, Latrell Sprewell hit the game-winning shot with 7.9 seconds left in that game to give them the victory, 84-83. So those are the 2 sweeps. Every other game, or every other series, win at least 4 games. So let's look at one of those now. The Charlotte Hornets and Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers had Allen Iverson, Aaron McKie, Tony Kukoc, Tyrone Hill, Eric Snow. Like, this was a solid 76ers team, as we'd find out in the next year. So the game 1, Philadelphia wins. Charlotte, remember, won the season series, so they got home court advantage. Didn't matter. Philly wins the game 1, 92-82. Allen Iverson put up 40 points in game 1. Derek Coleman for the Charlotte Hornets had 23 points and 16 rebounds. A double-double to lead the way. Game number 2, Philadelphia loses. Charlotte comes out on top 108-98 in overtime, getting outscored 17-7 in overtime. Derek Coleman, 29 points. And for the Sixers, Tony Kukoc led the way. That was the game where Allen Iverson, if I remember correctly, tweaked his ankle there in the third quarter. But Tyrone Hill, 13 boards, and Eric Snow, 13 assists. Eric Snow was a very underrated point guard. All right, game number 3, the Sixers won 81-76. They were tied heading into the fourth, and they outscored them by 5 in the fourth quarter. Iverson with 24 points. Eddie Jones led the Hornets with 18. And then in game 4 to win the series, Philadelphia 105, Charlotte 99. They were down heading into the fourth quarter by 4 points. Outscored the Hornets by 10. Allen Iverson with 26. Eldon Campbell and Anthony Mason both had 21 points each. Eldon Campbell did end up with a double-double as he also hauled in 11 rebounds. So that's that 3-1 series. Now we'll go down to the 3-1 series in the West. The Portland Trail Blazers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game number 1 in Portland, 91-88. Absolutely outstanding game. Scottie Pippen one rebound away from a double-double, 28 points, 9 boards. Malik Sealy led Timberwolves in scoring with 23. Garnett had 10 rebounds. Game number 2, 4-point victory for the Blazers, 86-82. Garnett did get the double-double that time. Pippen led the Blazers with 21 points and 7 rebounds. Game number 3 in Minnesota, 94-87. Minnesota Timberwolves, Terrell Brandon put up 28 points and 12 assists, a double-double there. And Kevin Garnett pulled down 13 rebounds. And then in game number 4, this one Minnesota had everything set up for them. And they lost the scoring so bad in the fourth quarter. They got outscored 28-13 in the fourth quarter. 15 points. They were up by 7 heading into the fourth. They lost 85-77. Garnett had a double-double. Almost a triple-double. He had 17 points, 10 boards, and 9 assists. Arvydas Sabonis did get a double-double for the Blazers with 15 points and 11 rebounds. The other series that went 3-1 was the Suns and the Spurs. So, Suns and Spurs, game number 1, Phoenix wins 72-70. Hardaway and Robinson both had 17 points each. And Sean Elliott led the Spurs with 15. Game number 2, the Spurs absolutely came out and smashed them in the second quarter and beyond. 85-70. Penny Hardaway with 19 points. David Robinson, a double-double. 25 points, 15 boards. Game number 3, the Suns win 101-94. David Robinson, another double-double. 37 points, 13 rebounds. 37 points, 13 rebounds. Penny Hardaway, 17 points for the Suns. Merriman, 14 rebounds. Penny Hardaway did end up with a double-double in that game with 13 assists. And then the game 4 closed out the series. The Suns win 89-78. David Robinson, another double-double. Penny Hardaway, 23 points. Jason Kidd with 10 assists. So those are all the series. So right now we've got New York, we got Philadelphia, we've got the Suns in the next round, we got the Portland Trail Blazers in the next round, then you got the Miami Heat in the next round. So then you've got the 3-2 series, and there were 3 of them. We're going to start with the Jazz and Supersonics, because this matchup never made sense. Game 5 was the closest game. Game 2 was pretty good, but Game 5 was the closest game. Here is how the Jazz and Supersonic series went. Utah Jazz win game number 1, 104-93. Gary Payton gets a double-double with rebounds. 24 points, 11 rebounds for the Sonics. Karl Malone puts up a double-double, 50 points, 12 rebounds. Jeff Hornacek with 11 assists. Game number 2, Jazz win 101-87. Karl Malone, 23 points. John Stockton with the 11 assists. Game number 3, Supersonics win 89-78. Gary Payton with the double-double, 23 points, 10 assists like a point guard should. Karl Malone with 30 points and John Stockton with 13 assists. Then game 4, Supersonics win again, 104-93. Gary Payton gets the triple-double. People forget how good Gary Payton really was. Gary Payton was a baller. I loved Gary Payton. 35 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. The other side, Byron Russell led the Jazz in scoring with 26. Then game number 5, Utah Jazz take it 96-93. And it was a great game. It was a great game. So when you look at everything, Karl Malone, 27 points. John Stockton, 15 assists. Gary Payton, 27 points, and he also threw in 9 assists. But the Jazz ended up winning that series 96-93, 3-2 in the 3-2 in that series. Now, the series that I was watching, the series that could have gone really bad, number 1 seeded Pacers against the Milwaukee Bucks. Game number 1, Pacers win 88-85. Jalen Rose, 26 points. Dale Davis, 17 rebounds. For the Bucks, Ray Allen, 26 points. Sam Cassell with 6 assists. Game number 2, the Bucks took it from us. It was a horrible game for the Pacers. Bucks win 104-91. Austin Crozier had 16 points. That was our highest scoring point lead. That's the problem. Ray Allen, Sam Cassell both had 20 points each. Game number 3, in Milwaukee, Pacers win 109-96. Reggie goes for 34 points. Allen and Robinson both go for 26 each for the Bucks. And then in Game 4, the Bucks win 100-87. Jalen Rose led the team with 17 points for the Pacers. Allen and Williams got 20 points each for the Milwaukee Bucks, and Sam Cassell had 13 assists. And then that all-epic Game 5 with Travis Best in the corner. Reggie Miller, 18 points in the fourth quarter of Game 5. Pacers come out on top 96-95. Not for a lack of trying. Reggie Miller, 41 points. Dale Davis, 12 rebounds. Sam Cassell led the Bucks with 22 points and 6 assists. So, 3-2 series. And now we get to the controversy. And this is too fresh in my mind. And by fresh, I mean really simply this. The way this series played out, it was horrendous. Okay? It was horrendous. The Sacramento Kings were 1,000%, and this has been documented. This is the controversy. The Sacramento Kings were never going to win this series. The Sacramento Kings never had a shot to win this series. And the games, although, were always wide. Let's see, the closest finish was 8 points. We have a 10-point game and an 8-point game. But the series really is what put a stain on the NBA. It wasn't good. And everybody knew something was going on. So let's run you through this series, because the Sacramento Kings and Los Angeles Lakers were two teams that could absolutely battle it out with each other. Lakers win game 1, 117-107. Shaquille O'Neal puts up a double-digit, once again, a double-double. 46 points, 17 rebounds. For the Kings, Chris Webber, 28 points. Vlade Divac led the team in assists with 8. Game number 2, the Lakers smoked them, 113-89. Shaquille O'Neal, 19 rebounds. He had 6 assists. Kobe Bryant led the team with 32 points. Chris Webber, on the other side, was going for a triple-double. He got 22 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. Chris Webber was an outstanding player. Game number 3, Webber did it again. 29 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists in the victory this time. 99-91 over the Lakers. Kobe Bryant, 35 points. Shaquille O'Neal, 17 rebounds. Game number 4, the Kings win again, 101-88. Chris Webber again, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. Kobe Bryant with 32 points. Shaquille O'Neal with 16 rebounds. So that brings us to Game 5 in LA. It wasn't good. It was not good. The foul calls went against the Kings and right away in the first quarter, immediately putting them in foul trouble. Tony Delk, a backup point guard, led the team in assists with 6. Chris Webber had 20 points, 4 rebounds. Shaquille O'Neal has 32 points, 18 rebounds. And it wasn't good. So I went into the box score, which doesn't do much for people. But here we go. Vlade Divac had 4 personal fouls and he got him early. Scott Pollard, 4 personal fouls. He got him early. Peja Stojakovic off the bench had 2 fouls. John Barry had 2 fouls. Tony Delk had 2 fouls. Derek Martin had 3 fouls. Chris Webber had 2 fouls. At the end of the day, Shaquille O'Neal was 15 of 24 from the field, 18 rebounds, only 1 personal foul. We all know how Shaq played. 1 personal foul. 1. The guy that had the fouls was Derek Fisher. He had 5. Rick Fox had 4. Shaquille O'Neal had 1. 1. The way that this series was called was really bad and left a really bad stain on the playoffs in general. Because the first round had a lot of really strong matchups. For the Supersonics, I mean, going back, and this is why I love going back, Gary Payton was everything for that Seattle Supersonic team. And first of all, Seattle needs to get a team back, and they need to be the Supersonics again. That logo needs to come back. Everything needs to come back. The Utah Jazz need to bring back that old logo too, because it looks so much better. So much better. I don't know why they changed. So, in the, let's see, there it is. So, this game, that final game between the Jazz and the Supersonics, this was the stat line. Gary Payton, 27 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Rashard Lewis, 20 points. Vin Baker, 17 points. Horace Grant played 40 minutes, 2 points, 7 rebounds. Ruben Patterson had 15 points off the bench. Altogether, the Seattle Supersonics shot 44% from the field. Why did they lose? Simple. Because the Utah Jazz shot 54% from the field. Or 53% from the field. Karl Malone. Karl Malone had a beautiful game. 13 of 24. 27 points. 8 rebounds. John Stockton, double-double, 17 points. 15 assists. It was best versus best. And that's what games should come down to. These series were always... I mean, you talk about some of these series being separated by... The Knicks beat the Raptors by 4 points, game 1. 1 point, final second field goal by Latrell Sprewell. 7 points in game 3. Now you add them all up and you're going, well, yeah, but that's still 12 points. That's 12 points through 3 games. That's an average of winning by 4 points a game. That's gosh darn good basketball. Regardless of if it was a sweep or not, the basketball was good. The basketball was good. The Heat and the Pistons, game 2, 84-82. Now, you had your blowouts, obviously. You had an epic finish to the series finale with the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, Philadelphia beats the Charlotte by 10 in the first game. Charlotte beats Philly in overtime by 10 the second game. So we're at a 0 plus or minus. Philly beats them by 5 in game 3 and then beats them by 6 in game 4. It wasn't a blowout. It was good basketball. Hard basketball. I mean, the Trailblazers and Timberwolves. If you do plus minus with this game, good grief. Trailblazers win by 3 game 1, 4 game 2. But then Minnesota wins by 7 in game 3. So it's 0-0 plus or minus, and Portland wins by 8 in the final game. The games were good. And that's what it is about basketball back then. The shooting now, the Pacers and Knicks series is bringing a lot of it back. It's a lot more enjoyable basketball to watch. It's fun basketball to watch again. But I do. These guys are wimps nowadays compared to what these guys were back then. They can't bump and bang inside with the big boys anymore. They can't. And Barkley, to his credit, I know he's got a lot of weird sayings, but Barkley, to his credit, has called out all the NBA teams for being soft. Because when Pascal Siakam has Jalen Brunson on him on a switch, Siakam should go straight to the post, call for the ball, demand the ball, and back Jalen Brunson's sorry little behind down. And just destroy him. And you have teams settling for 3-point shots with a legitimate mismatch inside, where at the very worst, you will probably get a foul because the little guy doesn't want to give up an easy bucket. That's the difference. The mindset is no longer take advantage of matchups. The mindset is, ooh, what points can I get? Can I shoot it here? Can we shoot it here? 3-point ball is pretty. Not all the time. You know what's pretty? Good basketball. And to the credit, the Pacers and the Knicks have been playing really good basketball. The product on the screen and on the floor has been much better. And it's like what we used to have. We used to have really good games. We used to have a lot of close games. Series were fought hard. Really hard. And that's what the NBA was. That's the NBA I grew up on. That's the NBA I got to watch. Now, did I understand all the gambling and the stuff and the cheating and the betting and game fixing that was going on back then? Absolutely not. But basketball was so much more fun to watch. So much more fun to watch. And that is part 1 of the 2000 NBA Playoff Nostalgia Series. We will go through the rest of the playoffs, semifinals, conference finals, and NBA finals in part 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out. Make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next Nostalgia Series episode. Until then, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk. Make it the best day you can, and I'm out. See you guys later.